Diablo 4 currently has a lot of abilities that aren't really being used by almost anyone. They might not really fit into any sort of coherent build or even offer a unique form of utility. They basically just sort of suck or they're really boring. If they don't do a lot of damage or have a powerful effect like teleport or a rogue's imbuement effects or barbarian shouts, then they're just skipped over entirely. Some prime examples of crappy skills that I want to highlight here are Incinerate from the Sorcerer, Bone Prison from Necromancers, and Steel Grasp from Barbarians. These skills simply are not needed. They have almost no aspect support and no unique items that modify them to be usable either. They're there, you can use them, but you're much better off using many other skills that can either accomplish the same thing or just make your life easier, so why not? Now, I'm certain that Blizzard has plans to make these skills more viable in the future, additional seasonal content, introducing new aspects and new unique items, but I wanted to have some fun and brainstorm my own ways of adding some excitement to them now. So how could we possibly spice some of these up? Let's start with Incinerate. It has one aspect that actually references it, and that aspect is super vanilla and uninteresting. It actually has a unique specifically built for Incinerate, but it's also trash. The problem is, Incinerate forces you to stand still in a game that's full of stuff that you need to avoid and dodge, and the reward is certainly not worth the risk. You stand there, slowly burning someone to death, when one press of a button from any other core skill would pretty much just blow them up instantly. It looks pretty cool, I guess, but it's not very functional and you don't really feel like you're melting everything in front of you. I don't know if an aspect that allows you to slowly move while you're channeling it or something like that, I don't know if that would just defeat the entire purpose and design of the skill, but it's one thing that I think a lot of people would want to use for Incinerate. Or what if there was an aspect or unique that makes billows of smoke push enemies back as you're channeling, or a ring of fire surrounds you, offering some protection and even more damage to people who get too close. Or maybe the longer you channel it, the more intense it gets, and that would open up builds for gear with more mana or mana cost reduction. All I'm saying is its current state of stand still and light stuff on fire can be easily accomplished by other fire skills that the sorceress has. And they don't require you to stand still, so why would you use Incinerate? From a patch note perspective, all they can really do right now is they need to, I think, buff its damage and reduce its mana cost, especially buff its damage in like a short-term channel of it, because as it stands right now, the ability feels bad, and it is bad. Moving on from trash to trashier, we stumble upon the Necromancer's Bone Prison. It's got no uniques for it at all, and it has two aspects that are garbage, to say the least. It has way too small of a radius. It usually just gets in your way, and it takes up a spot on an already cramped Necromancer skill bar. Not to mention it has a long cooldown and no synergy with bone passives at all. Why not just use a curse in 99% of all situations instead? So how do we fix this mess? For starters, we need to double its radius and cut the cooldown in half. Make some cool shit for it, like the prison slowly squeezes tighter and does ramping damage to any enemies trapped inside. Or anyone inside is cursed with both of the Necromancer's curses. Make it so the prison has bone blades sticking out of the side of it and it slowly moves around and damages everyone inside and outside of it. I don't know. Ooh, here's a really crazy one. Make it so your Necromancer can, teleport inside of wherever he puts his bone prison. Like if you reactivate the skill. I don't know, maybe he sinks into the ground and pops out of the ground inside the prison or something. That gives him a mobility skill and it's badass looking. Helps solve the necro mobility issues and gives Bone Prison a home on a bar. As of right now, it just looks bad, it feels bad, it plays bad, and it's a huge waste of space on your bar. Did I mention that enemies can kill it and escape from it? It's just weak. The last ability that I want to touch on in this video is the Barbarian's Steel Grasp. We've seen other iterations of this ability in Diablo 3 that felt a lot better than what we got in Diablo 4. The radius is small, the cooldown is long, There is a huge delay from when you use your grasp before you can actually use your next ability, and it just feels awful. It doesn't look flashy, it doesn't feel cool to use. It does have a unique that fires out even more chains. Oh wow, so exciting. So how could we fix this and make it actually cool? The first thing that came to my mind was adding a 360-degree radius to Steel Grasp. The barbarian just whips the chains around the room, grabs all the enemies, sticks them right in front of him, and then hammers them with whatever his core skill is. Hammer the ancients right to the face. Imagine leaping into a room, using Steel Grasp to pull everybody in front of you, and then slamming a big Hoda right on top of them all. That's a 3-skill opener that's way more intriguing and way more interesting than going shout, 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 and then going and whirlwinding everything. Or I wouldn't even mind if there was an aspect that made it so you just shot out one big chain in a straight line and it just hit for a massive amount of damage. Like it just pierces through everything in its path, and you know, it could be really fun to pick off ranged enemies with that damage reduction aura or something, and you just snipe them right through everybody. Or maybe something where if you chain one mob, it'll chain to the next one and chain to the next one and chain to the next one, and kind of like this connect the dots type thing, except the dots are the little bastards that you're trying to kill. There's all kinds of different ideas that you could do for all of these abilities, but I mean, right now we have nothing. They're just boring, plain, simplistic. And for the barbarian, right now it's completely overshadowed by the battle shout meta, and unless it gets some serious help soon, I don't see anyone using it anytime soon at all. Blizzard seems content on nerfing stuff, but they need to start buffing these heavily underplayed, never used skills. Make them more interesting, make them appealing. I gravitated towards the Druid because I thought Pulverize was so sick, like the way it felt, just punching the fucking planet and exploding all the enemies underneath me. Even if it wasn't very good, I wanted to use it. It just happens to turn out that it's excellent, but that's besides the point. Do you guys use any of these skills? Have you found a place to make them work or actually feel good? I would love to hear from you. Love to know what build you're using. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to hear it. Anyway, that's enough ranting for one video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.